There comes a moment in every human life when the noise of the world quiets just enough for a single truth to be heard, a truth so simple, yet so powerful, that it decides the destiny of anyone who dares to acknowledge it. Most people fail because they ignore this truth, not because they are incapable, not because they lack talent, not because fate has chosen someone else over them. They fail because they walk past the doorway that could have changed their entire life. And they don't even know they missed it. The truth is this: your mind is building your future long before your hands ever touch it. Every thought, every belief, every expectation, they are constructing the blueprint of your destiny quietly, relentlessly, without stopping. And the tragedy is that most people never take control of that blueprint. They drift, they wish, they hope, they scroll, complain, envy, wonder, but they never stop long enough to ask the real question: what am I allowing my mind to create for me when I'm not paying attention? Napoleon Hill said, "Thoughts are things." He didn't mean thoughts are ideas. He meant thoughts are the raw material that turns into money, relationships, health, failure, fear, and opportunity. Look at history. Edison was not the smartest man of his era. Ford was not the wealthiest. Carnegie was not born powerful. Disney was not born a visionary. But each had one thing in common. They understood that the world bends for the one who first bends their mind. Edison's 10-0-0-0 failures didn't break him because he wasn't relying on luck. He was relying on an inner certainty that the world would eventually match the picture he held in his mind. Ford ignored every engineer who told him the V8 engine was impossible, not because he was stubborn, but because he trusted the power of the idea forming inside him. Disney stood bankrupt, betrayed, and laughed at, yet he walked with the confidence of a king because in his mind the castle was already built long before the first brick existed. But today, people want success without belief. They want riches without vision. They want discipline without reason. They want results without responsibility, and so they fail, not because life is unfair, but because the inner world they've built cannot sustain the future they crave. Here is the truth people ignore: success is not something you chase. Success is something you become capable of receiving, and you become capable by reshaping the one thing most people never touch: your identity. See, you can copy someone's habits, routines, strategies, and schedules. But if you still believe you are average, unworthy, or stuck, your mind will sabotage your effort every single time. You can grind for 14 hours a day. But if your beliefs contradict your actions, your beliefs will win. You can say the words, "I will succeed," but if internally you're still carrying the weight of your past failures, your mind will drag you back to the life you're trying to escape. The truth is brutal but liberating. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to the level of your mindset. That is why most people fail, not because they aim too high, but because their mental foundation is built too low to hold the life they desire. You cannot build a skyscraper on the foundation of a small house, and you cannot build greatness on the identity of someone who doubts their own potential. But here's the miracle: you are not stuck with the identity the world gave you. You are not trapped in the beliefs you learned as a child. You are not defined by the mistakes you made in desperation. Your identity is clay. Your mind is the sculptor. Your future is the sculpture waiting to be shaped. And the moment you realize this, you stop living like a spectator and start living like the author of your own destiny, because there is a force inside you, a quiet, patient, persistent force that has been waiting for the day you finally decide to use it. The day you finally understand your mind is not a mirror of your life, it is the engine of it. This is the truth the world ignores, and this is the truth that decides who rises and who falls. And once you see your mind as the engine, everything changes. You stop asking, "Why isn't my life transforming?" and you start asking, "What beliefs, what fears, what doubts are silently controlling my decisions?" Because the truth is, most people don't fail in public. They fail privately in the quiet choices nobody sees. They fail the moment they choose distraction over discipline. They fail the moment they choose comfort over growth. They fail the moment they choose the familiar pain of their past over the unfamiliar possibility of their future. People think failure happens on the day they quit. It doesn't. Failure begins long before that in the mind that convinced them quitting was acceptable. Look at Abraham Lincoln, a man who suffered defeat after defeat, business failures, election losses, personal tragedy, and yet he built a mind that refused to break. He understood the truth: you do not need perfect circumstances. You need a resilient mind. Carnegie walked into America with nothing but a dream and a belief so strong it bordered on madness. But that belief, that burning inner certainty, became the foundation of an empire. Every giant, every innovator, every self-made success story began with the same invisible advantage: a mind trained to interpret failure as progress, a mind trained to turn rejection into redirection, a mind trained to see possibility where others see dead ends. And this power is not reserved for a chosen few. It's not inherited, it's cultivated. Most people never cultivate it. They wait for motivation like it's weather. They wait for clarity like it's luck. They wait for confidence like it's a gift. But the truth is, motivation comes from movement, clarity comes from action, and confidence comes from the repetition of courage. It's not the big decisions that change your life. It's the small, invisible ones: the decision to get up when your body says sleep, the decision to study when your mind says scroll, the decision to practice one more hour when nobody is watching, the decision to believe in your future self even when your present looks nothing like the dream. Every small decision becomes a thread. Those threads become habits. Those habits become your identity, and your identity becomes your destiny. This is the truth most people ignore. They chase external success while remaining internally weak. They build big goals on a fragile foundation. They demand results from a mind still controlled by fear, envy, laziness, and doubt. And when the results don't come, they blame luck, fate, timing, or the world. But the world wasn't holding them back. Their internal programming was. Your subconscious mind is like the soil of a field. It will grow whatever you plant in it: fear or faith, laziness or discipline, excuses or action. A farmer who plants weeds cannot expect wheat. Yet millions of people plant negative thoughts and then curse life for giving them negative outcomes. You cannot outwork a negative belief. You cannot outrun a self-limiting identity. You cannot hustle a mind still programmed for failure. But the moment you reprogram the mind, the moment you take control of the soil, the harvest of your life begins to change automatically. This is why visualization works. This is why affirmations work. This is why intention matters, not because they are magic, but because they are tools to reshape the identity that shapes your destiny. When Hill interviewed the most successful men of his time, Rockefeller, Edison, Carnegie, Ford, he discovered something almost mystical. Every one of them lived in two worlds: the physical world of action and the invisible world of thought. Their minds arrived at success long before their bodies did. They saw the outcome before it existed. They believed in the outcome when the world laughed. They walked like kings when they were broke. They made decisions based on who they intended to become, not on who they currently were. And slowly the world conformed to their inner vision. This is not motivation. This is reality. This is how success is built, not from circumstance, not from luck, not from talent alone, but from the relentless shaping of a mind aligned with a future others cannot yet see. Most people ignore this truth, but those who accept it, those who master it, they step into a life others call impossible.